Hey everyone, what's up? It's me, Joel D. In this video, we're going to talk about adding static web pages to your blog. And by static web pages, I just mean your generic web pages like your home page or your About Us page or a contact page. So what I want to teach you is how to create a page from scratch and also how to use the EA duplicator to use an existing page to get started with to create a new page. Okay, so let me hop over to my web browser, and I just logged into my WordPress dashboard. And now the first thing I want to show you how to do is create a page from scratch. So from the dashboard, I'm going to go down to pages and click on that. And I can see a list of my current static pages. So my About Us, Contact Us, my home page, privacy policy, sample page, services. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a consulting page. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to click add new, or I could click add new here. I'll start by clicking add new, and it's going to bring me to a generic WordPress editor. And this is the older way of creating a page. So you would do that by using these types of blocks. I could add a paragraph, I could add an image if I searched for it. But we have Elementor, which makes it easier, and we're going to use that. So I'm just going to name this page consulting, and I'm going to click on edit with Elementor. And this is going to pull up, take a second, and here we are. So as you can see, we have our header here, we have our footer here, because remember we use Elementor header, footer, and blocks to update these. So I can't actually edit this from this page, but within here is the start of our new static page. And remember, this doesn't have to be a super fancy page or anything. It's a consulting offer. We can just basically let our audience know that we have this as an offering, and it may even replace one of these pages or both, depending on what we feel like doing with our site. So there is a services page that we have and a contact form. So this is another type of contact form. Contact us for consulting services. So what we could do is just create a simple consulting page, and maybe at the end add a CTA that if you want more information without contacting us, check out the services we provide, and we would link them to our services page. Okay, now let us start off on this page by creating our hero section. And by hero section, if you've heard that term, that's essentially what every web page on your site should have, and it tells your audience what the page is about quickly. Within 3 seconds they should know what the page is about and how to take action on this page. And the reason you do that is you want the best user experience. So if you're not giving your audience members clear direction, they're gonna direct themselves out of your website. So you always want to keep them engaged, and how you do that is with the hero section. Gives them some information, maybe an image, maybe a form. It lets them know what they need to do and how to take action, and it keeps them on your page longer, and it keeps them more interactive. So it's very important that you add this to each of your pages. Okay, so now that we know we want to create a hero section, the first thing we're going to want to do is, you guessed it, create a section. So I'll use this plus button here, and you'll see that it's going to give me these structures that I can use if I want a single column, double column, so on and so forth. Or what I can do is come to my elements, and if I know I want to start with just a large image or a large video, say, which I'm not going to do, but I'll give this as an example. I could drag this. I can't drag it outside of the widget, because remember from the last video, you need a section or an intersection to add content to. But what I can do here is add it to this widget, and it'll create that section for me automatically in the form of a single column section. So you can see here's the section, and then within my section I have this video. So I will remove that at this time. And I use that Control-Z function again. And what I really want to do here is I'll just create one with 2 columns. So I added the plus, clicked on 2 columns, and this is what it's showing. And now I can start filling these columns in with elements. So first thing I want to do is I want to add in a heading. So I'm going to take this heading option, I'm going to drag it in, and I want it to be on the left hand side, similar to my other web pages. Okay. And next I'll rename this and I'll say something like need help with your anxious dog. And then I can add something over here. Whether or not I add an image here and then a form below or a form directly here is just something that is a preference. For this example, I'll just add an image. So I'm going to come back to my elements. I'm going to add an image. And now I have this title and I have an image. I also don't like how close this is to the top, so I'm going to add some padding by clicking on the section. And the section again includes everything, so if I add padding to the section, everything will move down. If I add padding to a column or an element, just that element or column is going to be affected. But I want this whole section to move down, so I'm going to click the section, advanced. Remember, it's going to give you the option for the layout for a section, style, and then advanced. We're going to want to go to advanced. I'm going to unclick this so not everything is moved to the same value, and then I'm going to add 100 at the top, and it moves this all down. And maybe that's a little too far, maybe I say 75. Okay, now I'll come back up to my elements and I want to add a little text underneath my my hero heading. So I'll take this text editor and I'm going to find a spot right next to or under my hero heading, and it gives me by default a little bit of space, so that's good. And then I can add something here on how we've helped people in the past. So I could say maybe we've helped hundreds of anxious dogs overcome their fears. Something like that. Again, I'm the kind of shooting off the hip here, but and then I can go to this image and I can actually find an image. So there's a couple ways to do this. One, you can upload your own image. Two, you can use what they provided you with in the template. I don't suggest doing that. So again, I do want to mention that because I've been doing a lot of that with this demo, and that's just for time's sake. Like, you're going to want to customize everything and personalize it as much as you can, any site that you do. If you want to start off fast, I mean, go for it, but I would have a plan in place to kind of start personalizing your own site. And if you're really looking to go above and beyond, I actually highly recommend not even using any stock imagery like these stock photos. It's definitely beneficial if you're using your own unique designs on images within your site. It just makes it more authentic as opposed to stock imagery that tends to be a little on the phony side. So there's definitely been studies, at least from my internal corporate companies that I know of, where a lot of our pages perform exponentially higher when we use unique designs from our designers in-house as opposed to using stock imagery. So definitely think about that, and you could potentially outsource that down the road. And it does cost money unless you have the design chops to do it yourself, but it could be worth it in the long run. Now, having said that, let me show you how to get some more stock imagery. So if you come up here, there's this third option, is getting images from Pixabay. So Pixabay, they have Creative Commons, I believe it's called, licensing. So you don't need to give credit to any of these authors. You can use all these images, any image you want, on your website for free. And there's an integration with WordPress, so pretty awesome. Usually you'd have to go out to pixabay.com, download it, then import it into your media center within your website, and then utilize the image. Here you can just grab one and add it to your site. There's a few things I don't like it's harder to search for things, in my opinion, for like transparent images like I would want to use on my site here. So that's the downside of the integration, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're getting a bunch of free images that will save you a ton of time. So if I put in dog, it automatically brings up these images for me. Let me just take a look at a couple and try to see. I think this is transparent. That's the other thing. It's hard to determine, but let's just say this is the dog picture I want to use. I'll download it, or I'll click this button up here. And then once it imports into my site, I can insert the media. Or actually, it does it by itself. So I do have a white background, so it isn't a transparent image, but it does kind of work. So I could use something like this. I will, just for the testing purpose in the demo. But yeah, so that's how you would get images. Again, if you had your own image, you would come up here, click on upload file, and just select your file and create your own image. So if you use something like Canva, you can also use a lot of their images for free, and you can create, they have this background remover if you wanted to make it transparent, and you could pull those images in this way. Now moving on, I'm going to actually add a call to action here. So I'm going to come up, grab a button, drag it in to my area here, and I'm going to say something like I mentioned earlier. And a good way to pick a CTA name or label is to go to the page you plan on sending them to. So in this case, I'm going to be sending them to services. So I'll put in services, and when that comes up, which it should, I don't see it. There we go. So now that they're going to go to services, I should go to that services page to make sure that my CTA label matches up with what I am going to show them on the next page. And to do that, I can come up to services, right click, open in a new tab, and what we're saying is what we do, and then we can go through a list of things that we do and then some pricing plans. And again, using the template that we have is giving me ideas on how I can monetize my site in this niche. So we'll start with that. I'm going to say, because it was what we do, I'll say something like, see what we do. Or learn what we do, something like that. Learn what we do. Okay. So now when it just makes a much better and fluid user experience. And there's so many websites that don't do this, and this is why their bounce rates are so high. We want to give them direction. This is nice, clear, to the point. This is a little too broad in my opinion, so I'm going to swap out consulting with services, and then I'll make this services page just more of a child page of this. This is my generic landing page. Need help with your anxious dog? We've helped hundreds of anxious dogs overcome their fears. Learn what we do, or I'm going to add a contact field here that says, or just reach out for a consultation or something like that, and we'll add that in a second. But now when I come here, it's nice and easy. I click learn what we do. I go to services. Here's what we do. And it's a user experience that now they know what they're looking forward to, and we're going to provide it for them. That's how we need to think about and strategize our entire site. Okay, so now let's go back to our consulting page, and what I'm going to do now is add an additional section. I'm going to do another 2-column section, and that's going to come up below. I'm going to click on this section and make it that off-white color so it gives a little separation from my heading and our hero section. And I don't know exactly what that color was, so I'm going to go back to the services page, and just like I mentioned before, in this top area it gives me this quick edit option. So I'm going to edit this with Elementor, or I could have actually right clicked, view the source, or inspect the element, and I could have found it in the browser, but I'm gonna go into Elementor and show you how to do this. So here's my section. I can click on this, go to style, go to background type. Oops, sorry, that's already in there. And I can see the color that they're using here. So it's that off-white color. I'm just gonna copy this. So Control C. I'll go back to Elementor. I'll come into style here. Click classic. Move over to this box that has the red line through it because it's just picking up the global colors. And I'm going to add that off-white color. Now I can see that there is an off-white color, and when I start adding elements to the section, it'll be more prominent. And now that I think about it, I just wanted to start off with one column here so I could have a heading, and then I would add a form underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and delete one of these columns. So I right click on the column itself and come down and click delete, and it'll change this into a one column section. And then I'm going to come up to my elements, grab a heading, and that's where my new heading will be. I'm going to center this heading, and then I'm going to give it some space within the advanced section. Unclick so I don't link all the values together. Add some padding on the top to 75 again, or a little less this time it looks like. So maybe 50. That looks pretty good. I'm going to change this to schedule a consultation, something like that. And remember, while I'm doing this, you do not have to do it this way. I'm just giving you an example of a niche that I think I could monetize in particular ways. Your business is going to be different, so don't think you have to follow me step by step. This is just to give you an idea of how to build a page and then make it to exactly what your niche is about and monetize that way. Because I typically wouldn't even recommend going B2C. Like, and what I mean by that is business to consumer. So that's a business model, meaning I'm catering to individuals. My whole purpose of my blog startup is actually running your company like a startup business, in the sense it actually makes a lot of sense to get into a niche where a business is involved, because they have such a big budget. It's easier to get these consulting services. So that's why even for my blog, I get offers to consult people company wise. So it's easier for me to pick up a $5,000 a month consulting service, because businesses will spend money if they think I'm going to bring value to their company. So they have much bigger pockets than individuals. So a little advice here. I'm doing this dog niche just to prove that you can do this with any niche. But if I'm looking for my own business, I'm typically going to cater around a business model that's going to include businesses. So B2B, which is business to business. I offer a service. I'm a business. I'm offering services to other businesses. That doesn't mean individuals can't utilize the service, like for blogging, but companies use blogs as well. So, and what I teach is not just about blogs. It's about SEO. It's about digital marketing. It's about a lot of things. So I can offer those consulting services and charge a hefty fee to companies because they have the budget, and I kind of know that space, and I know what people budget for because I used to do that. So again, my recommendation, my quick tip here while we're at it is, if you can, try to get in a niche where you can incorporate B2B consulting, which would be, again, you can cater to companies instead of individuals, because there'll be a much higher likelihood that you can land a $5,000 a month consulting gig with a business over an individual. However, having said that, within the dog niche, that market is so big as well, you could get more and multiple consulting offers here to add up to the same amount you could get for one business deal. So again, different models, but just be aware of that. Okay, so next I'm gonna want to add my form. So it's just gonna be a contact form, or if you have a phone number and you prefer them calling you, you could add that there, or you could add both. So I'm going to go up into my elements area and I'm going to look for a form. So I don't see one here. Actually, I do. WP forms is right here, but I could also search for a widget if it wasn't right there. So let's say I look for WordPress forms here. I can go down, drag that in, and when I do that, it's going to ask me for me to select a form, and I have that inquiry form that came in with the template, so I can use that. It's basically just a simple contact form, and you're asking them what's your name, what do you call your pet, what is it, a dog, any cute habits of your pet, what numbers should we dial, your contact number, and let's connect. So another quick, easy way to offer multiple calls to action on this page. Very simple. I come to my consulting page, need help with anxious dogs. We've helped hundreds. Want to learn about what we do, or do you want to schedule a consultation? Gives them the options that maybe they want to learn more, or maybe they want to just get in contact with me. So it gives both of those right up front. And I tend to go more on the lenient side of, hey, learn more, don't marry me on the first date kind of mentality. But that's not to say that people who are aggressive aren't just as successful or more successful with certain niches. So again, two different strategies. Pick the one that you feel most comfortable with, because even in the sense I could swap these and put the form up top, and I could move this down to learn more here. Or what I could do also, another strategy would be just to add this section into our services page itself, which isn't a terrible option either. So there's multiple ways you can do this, but I did want to show you how to build this page out and show you how easy it is. Now, if I didn't want this form to look so big, I could shrink it down by using padding. So let me just do that real quick, because I don't like how long this is. So if I were to go to edit the form, advanced padding, I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm just going to change the right and left padding. So let's say I do 200 and 200. So this narrows it a little more, and I can do some edits to the form itself outside of the app and change these form fields, add fields, and we'll do that in a different video. But this is good enough for now. Again, with the training that I wanted to provide, you now know how to create a page from scratch. This was a super simple one, but again, all you're doing is adding sections and then adding content within these intersections, and you can start building out any page that you want. So my task for you is to think about, because we want to finalize our sitemap, like I said, we want to start building content for all of these pages, and we want to start linking all these pages together to create that good user experience like I had mentioned earlier in this video. So figure out what pages you're missing. That's my task for you. Start building them out, at least from a template perspective. Don't worry about the content yet. You can put in some placeholder content like I'm doing, but that's not to say this is my end all content or copy. I just want to put something in there, give myself an idea of what I'm trying to create, so I can then start building out my content strategy. All right, hopefully this was helpful. Just to recap, we've added a section, our hero section. We want that to be very intuitive for our audience member. Tell them what the page is about, give them a call to action, keep them engaged, keep them interacting with your site. And then we added an additional section where we just added a form for contacting us. And then what we're gonna do in the next video is start customizing. So once you finish the task of creating your pages and you have your full list of pages here, so once this is finalized, at least initially from a sitemap perspective, meaning when I say sitemap, I just mean a list and hierarchy and structure of all of your pages. Once that's complete and you know exactly all the pages you have, maybe it's just the ones that we have here, like a home and about us, we're going to want to add a blog page here in my example because this wasn't a blog template, so it doesn't give us that blog option. I want that. My focus is going to be on creating these SEO articles, and I want them to be easily accessible. So I'm going to add that, and we'll do this all in the next video. So I'll create my own pages offline that I think are necessary. You do the same. We'll come back on the next video. We're going to customize our site from a menu perspective, header and footer, and we're going to link everything that we need to accordingly, whether or not you're putting a sub menu in and you have a lot of pages, or if you have just these static straightforward pages. We're going to make sure that our header's right, our footer's right, all our menus are right, everything's linking together, and then we'll be able to build out a content strategy for all those pages, and then again we can link them together. Now, before I forget too, we do have to publish this page, so we never really saved it. We are going to want to publish this, and this will turn it from a draft into an actual page. And I'm just going to click this publish button here behind my shoulder again, and now it'll say your page is live, so I can have a look. I can either click have a look, or I can click the little preview option, and let me hide myself again so you can see this better. All right. So there's the preview option, and there was also a hooray, your site is live, take a look that came up. That's gone now, but I'll just click on my preview page, and this is what our new page looks like. So not bad to start off with. It's just, again, a simple page for consulting services, so nothing out of the ordinary and simple, straight to the point, and I kind of like it. So that's how you do that. But before I let you go, I am going to want to show you how to use the EA duplicator, which makes things easier when you're creating multiple static pages, or you need to. So I'm going to go back to my WordPress dashboard. In pages, I can see I now have these pages. Consulting is no longer in draft mode because we published it, and it's just showing as an Elementor page. But what I can do here is I can take any of these pages that I like the design for, and I can use the EA duplicator. So say I really like the services template. So I like this template, and I want to create a different page, whether or not it's for something similar to services or if it's completely different. I just want to use this format. I can come back here, go to services, and click this EA duplicator button, and what it's going to do is it's just going to replicate this page for me. And if I come down, it's going to show customization draft Elementor. So I can do a quick edit. I can rename it to whatever I want and whatever the page is about. So let's just say it's about another about me page or something, and I want to use this format for my about me page. I can do that, and then I can create a slug about me, and I can click update. I mean, again, it's in draft mode still, so I could just publish it, but I'm not going to do that right now. And then all you would do is the same thing that we just did. Open in new tab in Elementor browser, or a browser with Elementor, I should say. And this is going to load up, and it's going to be the same exact page that we have for our services page. And all we would have to do now is edit the text, edit the images, and edit any section, remove any section. So if you wanted to make this an about me page, you obviously don't need pricing, so I could just go ahead, right click here, delete. Don't want to add a trial, I'll delete, and just keep, and you can just adjust. It gives you a head start on your page and creating your page. So just another tip that you can use. Instead of creating it from scratch like we just did, you can use any of your pages as templates, or you can go back into the starter template area, search for a specific design that you like on any of the free templates, or if you have the paid version, you can take any template you want for a page and copy that over into your pages section or import it, and then you'll be able to use that as a template just by clicking that, EA duplicator. Really simple. I did want to show you that, just a quick tip. Now we'll head over to this page again, and in the next video I want to show you quickly how to make a logo and help you out with that. There's two tools that I use, Canva and Wix Logo Editor, just from a quick standpoint. If you want to outsource it, get someone to creatively design one for you, that's your choice. But at first, it's not a huge deal, but we do want some sort of branding. So we're going to want to start branding our website. We're going to want to create, a personalized look and feel for our site. And also, when we start developing our content strategy, we want a logo for our social site. So when we start publishing articles, etc., down the road, we have social sites set up already and it has our brand on it, and then we can push it out, that content, to those social channels and get traffic. So I think a logo at this point is important, but not as important as making sure it's your final logo. But we want at least the colors, people to get used to your brand and be able to share content when we need to. So that's what I'll do in the next video. And then in the following video is where we'll update this header with that new logo. And then, like I said, we're going to have all of our static pages completed hopefully by then. So we'll be able to determine how we're going to set that up in our main menu. We'll fix our footer and our footer menu as well to align with our brand and align with our new pages. And then we'll just go from there. Once all of that's set up, we have everything linked together, that's when we start building our pages out with our own content. So developing that content strategy with all of our final pages, and then we'll start building in the content for our primary keywords that we're determined to use for our first 5 blog posts. So we're getting there. Keep pushing. You guys are doing awesome. Hopefully your site is looking great. And comment below or add a comment to or feedback to our Facebook group. If you have any questions, reach out, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, everyone.